to MD Model Works. What I'm doing at the moment, I'm adding Alclad 2's Dark Dirt Wash to the parts. I've just done the side panels. I hope you can see that well enough. Let me get the camera to focus in. There you go. We have a new mic on the camera, so I'm hoping it's not going to pick up the sound of focus this time. That's the idea anyway, so that I can use a focus, not have to do everything down here flat so everything's in focus, but if I do that, it'll probably, there you go. So hopefully this is a test as such, so I'm just going to see what comes out. I have done one test just to make sure, but it seemed okay, so what I'm going to do is just carry on with this part. If this part isn't perfect, please forgive me. I will check it. Obviously I can't check it as I'm going, but I will give it a check and just make sure that we're not making too much noise in the background. The date today is the 30th of May 2020, still in the middle of the pandemic, so again we've got the weekend to do a few bits and bobs, and then during the week, as I said before, I will edit it all and I'll go from there. What I did do during the week, because I wasn't sure how long they were going to take to settle down, was add the decals to the seat and the instrument panel, which is here. Hopefully you'll be able to see that pretty well. I'm hoping this isn't picking up the noise of the lens focusing. This is a Canon T6i with a good quality lens, but it does make a noise through the standard mic. That's why I could never use the servo, but hopefully with a new mic on there it will take it away. So while I've got this in my hand, I'll just give this a nice dark dirt wash. I did spill a load of this before, so what I've done, I've nicked an old applesauce jar off the wife. There it is, Bramley apples. There's 2 bottles in there because I kept spilling it, so it's easier for me just to have it in here, dip the brush in and put it on. Now what the wash does, it brings out all the detail. This is hopefully going to go to NASA, Norfolk and Suffolk Aviation Museum, to go along with Mick Burr's B24. Then eventually I'll have another B24 to go there too. Mick is doing the HJ, is he doing a G? I can't remember if it's the F, G or H or J he's taken up there, but there's one there which he's doing, which is Ronnie, which did a lot of missions out of Flixton in the Second World War. I'm sure if Mr. Collis sees this, he will tell us exactly how many and what they did. So this is to go with that, because these were pretty much a scourge of the Liberators and of course the Fortresses and the Lancasters in our area. If anybody doesn't know where I live 3 miles from Seething, 10 miles from Thorpe Abbotts, 10 miles from Metfield. Flixton is literally round the corner, about 3 miles, is what I would call my home base. So I'm right in the middle of it. I also have Leiston, Halesworth, Holton, P47s, Leiston was P51s, and so on. I think Mick discovered, and if Bob does watch this, he'll enlighten us as well, but I think Mick did discover that they also had lightnings based there for a while. Not many, but they were there. So perhaps if I can find a 1/32 scale lightning, we'll do that for the museum as well. Mick and I have been working in conjunction with the guys there for a while about doing the B-24 Liberator, because it is massive. It's a metre wingspan, so it needs a big area to be shown. As I say, Mick is doing that at the moment. I have one I've started, but I wanted to get on to videoing again. It had been started, so I thought, no, I'm gonna carry on and do the 110 ready to go along with it. Although hopefully it's going to be open again soon, which will be good for everybody, including the museum. So we'll have to see. Okay, right, why put a wash on? What the wash does, it literally brings out all the details that's on the plastic which you wouldn't normally see. It gets into all the crevices, dries up, leaves a little bit of a dirty look to it all, which is exactly what we're after. As I said before, these aircraft in World War II, I'm not saying they were throwaway, but they didn't look after them that well. The Japanese weren't so much worried about their planes. All they were cared about was the Hinamaru, which was painted quite regularly with the rising sun, so the Emperor wouldn't get annoyed. But their planes were very well worn, especially towards the end of the war. So that's that one. Nicely painted. Nicely washed down. Decals again on the radio compartment. This is just going to be quickly done. Just like so. You don't need to be too, just cover everything, but you don't want to be too overly on it, if you know what I mean. You don't want to put too much on it. Right, I've got some bigger bits to do, which will take a little while. Sorry to see me brush on washers, but that's not really what you come in for. So when I've done these and it's dried, I'll come back and we'll do some more bits. Okay, welcome back. Now, the wash has dried nicely. I'm happy with the effect that I've got. So it's time to glue her all together. Oops, managed to touch that. So we'll give that some glue. That's not a very good securing position there, so just give it a little bit more glue. Gonna have to check the position. I missed what I was doing then. Right, facing forward. Okay, down like so, and slides in, no problem. Okay, so that'll be left to dry for a while. As I said, I'm sorry if this video is noisy with the camera lens in and out. This is a test really, although it's a live test. As I said, I did do a standard test and there didn't seem to be much noise from the lens movement, so hopefully that's cured that. Right, excuse me going into camera and out again. This is frog tape. Now I like this tape for doing larger areas. It is a decorator's tape, so the glue is, the glue on the back is very sticky, so you'll need to clean that off. Normally, as it is, I'm just going to use it there as a palette for my super glue. So what we're going to do now is have a good look at the instructions and see what they say. We're going to get our cockpit together in this part, ready for to go into the fuselage and close the fuselage off. So again, we're just checking on exactly how we go together. That's quite a tight fit. I expect that's very difficult for you guys to see this, but this is actually harder to fit than I thought it was going to be. Push it in, that side's in, that one is in. It's come away, but we'll soon put a dab of glue onto that to put her back where she was Norfolk, sorry, like so. So that's in, and look in the biz, and we've got to do is glue from underneath on this one, few dobs, there we go. And on that bit at the top, just there, and that can then be glued back into place like so. Oops, still wrong. It needs to come up to there. That's it. Hold her steady for a second, just so that she holds. Just like that. Hope you can see that, and I weren't in camera. I don't think so. There you go. Right. Seat is in. The next part is our instrument panel, which I'm very pleased with. And all we're going to do with this bit is get some glue, drop it in. Now, tech glue, Tamiya extra thin, will break through the paint where you glue it. So that's fantastic. And she goes on just like so. So, come on, focus. That's it. So you can see in there, hopefully she's all in nicely and looking good. Right, so that's that page. Excuse me, I like to follow the instructions. I'm not one of these people who know exactly where everything goes, so I'm being a little bit careful. We have our radio controls, which then go on to this piece here. And as you can see, hopefully you can see where the wash has left little dirty parts, if you like want to call them. That just shows up nicely. So having a look at the back, looking good. So we'll just put a little bit of glue on this part. As I said, that will wear through the paint, and it will allow the plastic to join. That goes on to that part nicely, and then put it the right way up, Matt. See, should follow the instructions. Put it on like so,
have a feeling she goes about there. Now it looks like I'm going to take that apart. Somebody forgot to paint the rear, so that's going to be a job in a moment or two. I'll do that off camera. Shows you we're not all perfect, certainly not me. I have the ammo box part, which is pretty cool, and just lay some glue on top of here like so. We have our ammo boxes. We check the way which way go, so we're looking for a larger piece to go towards the back. That's correct, like that, and they just sit on top, centralised up, and a bit more glue on that. Sit her on, line them up, and they're sorted. So that's looking good. I'm happy with that. Okay, that can go back into that into the clamp just for a moment to let that dry off, and then we can carry on with what we've got here in front of us. Look at the other side. Right, the gun platform. There we go. And the two compressor bottles ready, which are pre-painted, which is what I do. We're going for the Loctite very liquidy super glue, and this stuff you only want a little tiny piece, and a cocktail stick. Right, so we check the orientation to make sure we're correct. So there and there. Okay, a little bit of super glue onto the fitting point, and straight on without any issues. And the other one, like so. So they're on. Okay. Now we have doodly-doo-dee-doo. I'm just looking at things just to make sure we're right. Nothing worse than being completely wrong. Right, the guns I've already put their mounting points in, and they come up from the bottom, so we need to just check where they're going to go. What's that way then? No. Ooh. Okay. That one. It's not the easiest thing to fit, to be honest, to make sure you get it correct. One is forward and one is back. And I want to make sure I get it right, because if you don't get these right, your guns ain't gonna fit. The piece will not fit inside. So this one goes to the back from that end. It's a bit of a Pain in the bum. And again, that didn't work. So where do these literally... Oh, because they've got to go that way. Dope. Just like that. Oh, that's how we wanted it. That fits in there, lovely. Okay. Right. So, on the actual gun, that point and that point. And in for that one. Make sure that that's sitting there square, which she is. And then the next one, yep, like that. Okay. A lot of the problems when you do a 110 or a 262 with all these nose cannons, there's always some sort of an issue getting them to fit. So take your time, dry fit, which is the optimum word for everything. Even, I mean, whether it's a Tamiya, throw it together, or something which is a little bit different like this. So the gun cradle's now on with two of the guns in it, and then a little bit of super glue on top. Check the orientation, which looks like, yep, the bigger part to the back, and then on to the ammo box, just like so. And again, a little bit of super glue, straight in. Again, a large part to the rear. It's looking good. I tend not to use super glue, the chemical that speeds it up, because I find it can leave white marks. So I like to leave it like that. So, hope we didn't do that out of screen, but there you go. I hope you can see that. Looking really nice. Let that dry for a few minutes, and then now I had a tip of somebody who I trust, and they said do not do what they say in the instructions and glue one side in and try to glue the other side in. Glue the cockpit together and then place it in. So that's what we're going to do eventually. So now I want the other ammo racks, which have been detailed for the rear. I'm just looking at where everything goes. Again, it's sitting there like so. So what we'll do is put that one in. Which is my better bottle. That one. Okay. Just let the tap do the work. Fail miserably. Let's get in there. Line it up. That's fine. We'll stand that up just for a few minutes like so. On this one I'm just going to go straight in with a bit of super glue, because that will help the job. Stop things moving around like they were. And here we go. Line the other one up with her, like so. Happy days. We have a section which comes out of the side panel. This will fit on there, and they will lay it on the top there, so just checking to see and make sure we got that correct, which it is. Okay, they can be given a few seconds. We have a side wall ready to be glued on, which isn't that side, it's this side. That will go on there like so. Eventually. So what I am going to do is to find out exactly where these go. In fact, I'm not going to use that one, we're going to use this one because that's the one they're using, and I can perhaps see where I'm going. If we get the correct piece, which is the chair part, that faces away. Okay, so tech glue, and stand her in like so, and we'll level her up when we've done the other part. Then we have this piece which actually fits on like so. Now I'm just wondering, those radio stations, yeah, they're going to be seen, so we'll have to paint those up. Line that up. We'll think again we'll just flow some tet along here. This isn't the cleverest of fits, doesn't sit in there perfectly, but it ain't too bad. Like so. Get that to glue in, and then while that's on, just run a few more bits through it, hold her on, make sure she's level with everything else, and let that dry for a few mins. Now while that's doing that, we're going to do a little something that I've forgotten and need to do. I'm going to get some very light grey. Silver's a little bit too much, or aluminium, like XF11, chrome, or sorry, XF16, chrome, and that sort of thing. We don't need that bright area. Did see something I need to sort quickly. Bit of super glue, because the other glue didn't seem to work. And we'll get that rudder pedal there. Things do happen. They normally happen for a reason, but this time there's no reason, no rhyme. They just happen. Pair of tweezers. These aren't the best ones. The hole, and lay it up, line it up, looking good. Right, back to what I was talking about. I'll do that bit last. Little bit of grey. Well, this is XF20, so this is literally barley grey, or Tamiya's version of barley grey, which actually is quite a way off, I believe. I can't tell you for certain until I find my barley grey. Is it over there?
Sorry about this. Oh, there we go.
Now, barley grey should have a slight green tinge to it. There we go. Now that's a difference. That barley grey was matched up to BS626. I know it was, I did it. So we have a tolerance of under 0.1 on the Spectro that I used to create this, so I know that it's fine. Barley grey, they call that barley grey. That's not. That's a medium grey, which is fair enough, but you can't counteract that. Cannot be counteracted or used as barley grey. This one, that is the true barley grey. That slight greeny colour you get on Typhoons. Right. So enough of running people down. I don't like doing that. But if you're going to call it something on your call outs, get it right. Okay. Right. So we get a nice. I use a soft brush. Some people use harder ones. I tend to like to use the soft ones. What we'll do is we get a good dobble on the brush. Dobble. Rub it off and then dunk her again. The reason behind that is so that all the hairs on the brush, this is a sable brush, all the hairs on the brush are covered with the paint. Okay, right, do a quick test somewhere where it ain't going to hurt. As you can see, it's working. And then, how well this will come up on screen, I don't know, or on camera. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, it don't look too bad. And a little bit on the floor. There's a bit of show a bit of wornness. On the corners, around the seat, where the guy sits. Few places where you're going to get rivets, where they're going to get rubbed. Very difficult to see this. This is a very, you don't want it to do it too much because it will just overpaint everything, and you don't want that, but you also want it to be seen. This is a very old tub of XF20. So, bit on the pipe, bit across the top of everything, just anywhere where things are going to get, paint's going to get rubbed off it, and so on the sides, because they'll walk down the side there, I presume, across the seat, all round. Now you're not going to see a lot of that on the grey, so if we do it on, I don't know if you'll even see a lot on here. I think what I'll do, I'm going to use some XF16, simply because you can't see this on camera, and see what's going on, and then I'll put another wash on and darken it down. I don't like using. Oh, that's awful. That's gone. Okay. New bottle. How they can put flat aluminium on. And we'll just. Right, you should be able to see this better going down. I don't think that was a very good way of showing how to dry brush. You can see the difference in shine is quite high. You want to rub it off as much as possible, because otherwise it's gonna, you're just literally gonna paint silver over everything. Now very lightly, giving everything just a little touch over, all the raised levels will get a little bit of paint, which is what you're looking at, and it just brings the detail out to the eye so you can see it via the eye. This one, just a little bit scratching up. Try not to get it on the black pipe work if you can help, and above it, so it's just a detail.
This is not the easiest thing to be seen on camera. Hopefully you can see it there.
And it just livens things up, makes things just that little worn, gives it that worn look, which is what we're after. But again, I'm not keen on using aluminium because it could be too harsh. But you just got to pick out your parts that you want to do, like the edges of areas, what have you, which get caught, messed around with. I will do a little bit inside the cockpit. I don't want too much. Obviously the pedals will be worn, a little bit there, around the seat, as I said, all the way around, because that seat will turn. So just on the edges, just to make the detail show up just that little bit more. That bit. Oh, the gun carriage. This is really where that comes into its own, just to give it some depth and detail for the guns. Slightly scratched. Ammo boxes. Show that detail up all the way around. And that's it really. Okay, right, so all the parts are sort of done. Just a little bit more dry brushing around. Don't want too much, as I said, a silver. I don't like really dry brushing with silver. Put the 3 bits away. We've got to need that, aren't we? Okay, I've painted the radio center, or the communication, the communications area, so that's ready. Now we have this part to go on, which is more ammo boxes. I just need to work out exactly how she goes on. The other side. And she goes on just like so, like that. Okay. So a little bit of super glue inside it, and then on like so, making sure she's lined up. I'll leave that be for a few seconds. In fact, I'll change my mind. I'm going, if I add her the instrument set to the model, then that will hold everything in place anyway. Wasn't the easiest thing to do, so we'll do that, which that looks rubbish at the moment, and then we'll turn this around slightly to make that level, which it is now, thank goodness. That's all looking good. Okay, so we're starting to build our cockpit together now. Right, so back to the other page, making sure we're not missing anything. We've got our part here which goes on the floor pan and upright like so. So we'll put, just flow some tape into there, that will creep in and we'll glue nicely. our guns are ready to go. We've got our system ready to add here. I'm just having a good look. I do like to check, as I said before, on everything. There's something to go on there. Oh, I see. So that part's got to go into that hole there. That's cool. It will. Having a bit of a fiddle, as you do. I'll sit on there. This part needs to slide in. That bit goes together like that. So you've got the wall of the rear of the cockpit all together, like so. And then we'll take our glue and just let the capillary action do the job of gluing us together. I've got to admit, this kit is quite impressive for how it goes together so far. There's been no issues. Up there. Put everything in place like so. So if you get one piece wrong, that can throw things out by miles, so you need to be a little bit careful. There we go. That's one part of the office in. Now what's it telling me to do? It says to join it to the side walls. Again, as I said, a friend of mine has said he built it and the side walls are a bit of a pain. So if you don't get everything lined up perfectly, and it's no good apparently doing it putting it all together and then she don't line up. So we're just making sure everything fits and lines up totally correct. Pleased with that. Right, so more glue. This is getting towards the end of the bottle. Which isn't a bad thing, because then you don't put glue absolutely everywhere. Okay, hold her in just while she sorts herself out. Hold her together while she's gluing. We'll just make sure everything is lined in how I want it, which it is, and that is looking great. Oops. He says while he moves things, and it comes out of the hole. Like so. That one's not quite in the hole where it should be, so just push that in. That's it. You can hear the click. I hope you heard the click. And she's in. That's our 110 cockpit all together. and she's looking quite nice, to be truthful. Bit more detail work to do, and then we're on to putting her into fuselage. So I'm going to call that, oh no, hang on, I nearly called it and that's not right yet. So now we've got our guns to go in, which go in, there's cockpit there, face them forward, and we gently squeeze them in, so as it says. Oh, hang on, whoop, there, we can soon put that back in. There's the holes for this, yes. So we've got our frontal portholes straight in, clipped in. And all we'll do is drop some glue just along the sides to hold that all together. Now, as you saw, one of our ammo boxes came away, so we need to get in there with a little bit of super glue. Pair of tweezers, making sure which way it goes to the back. The only thing using super glue, it does make the connection or the join very brittle, so you do need to be extra careful, extra vigilant with it. That's it. Line it back the way it should be.
That looks pretty good. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. That's end of part 3. We'll come back, put her in the fuselage and get the fuselage all joined up and together.
Great, thanks for watching. As I said, this was a test, so if it is noisy, it won't be on the next part.
Apologies in advance. Cheers. Bye for now.